would stroll around town in shiny blue spats. When passing a friend in the street, he would say, "Oh, 'tis a wondrous day, hip hip hooray." His moustache was silk and smooth and well kept. To keep it safe, he would take it off while he slept. He worked as a teasmith, making miraculous brews. Every hour of the day he could not afford to snooze. He brewed magic and tears and curious things with the finest of leaves sent by far-off kings. Until one day when a gift arrived, so out of the blue, the rarest and strangest and weirdest, I tell you true. Long by its length and wide at one end, plain around its middle with a curious bend. When put to his lips came all the jubilant sound, so full and so rolled round it rolled away across the ground. This WonderTrumpet, as it came to be known, was expensive indeed, worth more than Toot's home. He played it all day and he played it all night.
Get up, Claire!
Yeah, he played all day and he played it all night. With his super musical powers he could run and take flight. Zipping to and fro on his own musical breeze, it would only come to an end to his tash-making sneeze. But all this fun and his games, delayed and postponed, the tea leaves went bad and his tash went uncombed. Percival Toot was once a glamorous cat, but the WonderTrumpet saw a quick end to all that. Lillian Leaf in her long silken red frock let her gasp when she saw him through shock. Her wide lizard eyes and her wide lizard mouth went away with the rest of her. She ran away south. The WonderTrumpet lay dented, corroded and stained. Toot's lips were blistered, puckered and pained. Miss Leaf in her wisdom called a doctor to him, but when she returned, Toot hid in a bin. He felt ashamed and silly and ever so daft. The WonderTrumpet had led him far away from his craft. The town cried out for Toot, "Oh, Percival, oh, we miss your mirth and your tea, oh, how so?" He wept in his bin all night and all day. He stayed there a week and to that trumpet would pray. No memories remained of where, how, or who he had been. The strange device in his hand had wiped his mind clean. It consumed all his thoughts, his wishes and hopes, knotted them together like tatty old ropes. He pressed his lips to the small end and softly blew through. As the air circled round, he knew what he should do. So he climbed from the bin, WonderTrumpet in hand, and set off on a journey to a faraway land. Percival Toot was a travelling cat. His hair such a mess, it looked like a hat. Searching was he for a particular land. He tried Wigan, Bolton, in Trotton, he joined a band. Each note he blew through the WonderTrumpet's pipe, more and more his mind got a wipe. Blank and hollow he wandered in tears, nothing to think of but long-forgotten fears. He roamed so far, he roamed so wide, until one day a certain signpost he spied. Make-believe north, fantasy south. The idea of salvation made him foam at the mouth. Horror was west and hope was east. A strange happy feeling cheered the pitiful beast. On the Bombity road, Toot encountered a snail. In a fez, eyes on stalks and a long slimy tail. In a fez? As another his name, and slowly did he talk to dear Toot of all that could be. His slow way of speaking and deep crinkly voice made Toot think of his woes. There was no choice. They travelled together, past despair and lost hope, over tangled down river and the body boot slope. At the gates of the city, Toot bid adieu. Stealing his nerve, he walked on through. Percival Toot was a wandering cat. His coat hung in rags, sleeves flat like a bat. Peripheton city was vast and dense, glittering grand, all walls, no fence. Sat as it was on the edge of the world, the sound of the waterfall around the buildings curled. The WonderTrumpet knew where it should go. Toot clasped it tight and went with the flow. Past markets and bridges and towers and halls, followed always by the crashing, roaring sound of the falls. At a low wooden door, the WonderTrumpet called. Lord Modiforth Jones, maker of magic trombones. Toot read the sign once and then twice and then thrice to be sure. Behind this door could he find his cure? He knocked, it opened, and Lord Jones bade him enter. Preferred a glass filled with wine from a spiral decanter. The WonderTrumpet was prized from Toot's painful, stiff fingers. The effects are long-lasting, the bad kind that lingers. Lord Jones informed Toot the device had been sent to be used as a filter for the tea it was meant. Its powers were not good for people, for cats or for snakes. It was just to be used for making teas, coffees and cakes. Toot was bathed and scrubbed and washed, brushed and rinsed. Then to go through with the radical cure, he needed to be convinced. Percival Toot was once a hopeful cat. But putting up things bleeping, the line would be flat. Peripheral city at the edge of the world had a ledge to peer over. Jump and push, don't be hurled. The ropes led the way zigging this way and that. The old folks watched from benches and at them they spat. Decrepit and vile, putrid and pale, each of them in turn told a terrible tale. For this was the line for salvation or death. To scream or to whisper, choose our last breath. Toot stood in line and waited in turn. As he drew up to the ledge, he tapped his heels, returned. His return was his instinct to regain what was lost, salvage his mind and his life, but what cost? Lord Mortimer's Jones, crossing his fingers for luck, began to admire poor Toot. What courage, what pluck! Toot gazed down the halls and out into space. Of the usual kind, mind, it was a strange, empty place. One foot forward and the other joined in. He cartwheeled towards water, splashed and fell in. Infinity swamped him and flung him about, gurgling in panic, eyes bulged like a trout. His vision went fuzzy and his last breath surged. From his leap of faith, Toot had almost emerged. Percival Toot was a grateful cat, and he sat up in his bed. Well, fancy that. His tash was uncombed and his face got a wash. He scrubbed his clothes clean and had a quick knock. His belly full of breakfast, his body fresh and clean, returned to his work making tea from a sunbeam. The equipment was rusted, the cheese knotted tight. Despite all the mess in his workroom, the tea came out just right. It wasn't too sweet, it wasn't too bitter, reminding him of summer and daisies and his old babysitter. Toot grinned a wide grin and wiggled and danced. He skipped and he hopped and he twirled and he pranced. Not one thing had been lost, his skills still shone, his memories were back when once they were gone. Grabbing pencil and paper, he scribbled out invites. His friends could be keen to dance and fly kites. To Mortimer Jones as a NASA Miss Lee, to others, to mothers, to a king and a chief. The event was marked, the days counted down. Not even once did Toot wear a frown. The grand day arrived and everyone attended. They each and every one remarked on how Toot had been mended. Percival Toot was a strong little cat. Through hell and back he had patiently sat. Indeed. Fancy that.